Hi, welcome back. This is Dr. Brenda with the Corner Bench, and this is going to be Economical Health, or E equals Economical Health Part 2. Okay, last session ended good. I had a nice little story I told in there. But yeah, so you do whatever you got to do in order to get where you want to be. And I'm going to also, because I ended talking about how many streams of income do you need? You have to always ask yourself how many. And I was sharing about how to be like a tree opposed to to be like a tree opposed to being like a toilet tissue. A toilet tissue is easy disposed of. A tissue is just easy to be disposed of. But a tree has many usages, including making tissues and paper and buildings and things of that nature. So when it comes to you marketing yourself out in this earth, presenting yourself, you want to be able to present, all of your skills and all of your abilities and your talents and your gifts. You want to be able to bring the fact that you are organized, that you are very meticulous in specific areas, that you are very motivated. You have a very get up and go type of personality, or you may be the type of individual that like to do research, who likes to sit back and pay attention to things. So you bring something to the table. You have to make sure that there's a balance for yourself in terms of what it is you're willing to contribute to each setting that you're allowed to be a part of. So you ask yourself, how many streams of income do I need? I was sharing how I used to make Mother's Day plaques and go around selling them. Why not? It was a way of me being able to feed my children. So today I have to ask myself that same question. I always, every year, have to ask myself, how many streams of income? Because sometimes our streams of income start and they end. We may be having projects here or there. Especially if we're entrepreneurs, or if we have different types of businesses going on. So, and look at that. Look at yourself as an empress, because an empress is a type of individual who's running different things. And you have to take that on as yourself. We are queens. We are more than just queens. We are empresses because we're running things. And not saying queens don't run things, because queens do run things. But there is another level. And I see some empresses out in this earth like, yeah, I'm a queen, but that empress and that empress is like got like all of these businesses going on, able to employ other people. That's amazing. That's an empress. And we choose that's a bad bee. No, that's an empress. That's what that is. We just don't know how to put the proper words, you know? So that's why we default to those type of words. But that's an empress. When you see, I'll say it, when you see these amazing Kardashians, when you see these Beyoncés, when you see these Rihannas, when you see these women, they're not just queens, they're like empresses. But I'm an empress too. Sure, we running stuff. I'm in the process. I'm getting there. It ain't no joke. But yes, people say that. Yeah, because that takes some work, that takes some dedication, that takes some resilience. It's not like they've never heard no. It's not like they haven't had challenges, or it's not like you don't have challenges. You have challenges and you still pressing on. You get up every morning to make sure your children have the things that they need in their mouths and their book bags. You do everything you possibly could to make sure that their sleep at night is peaceful. You're running things. You're an empress in your own right. Why? Because you're running the finances for your home. You're running the child care for your home. You're running, the social interactions with your family to other people. Yeah, you are the chef there. Not just you, maybe your spouse is too. But I'm just saying, we're up at another level in this life. Yes. So, how many streams of income do you need to prosper? It can't just be one, because if that one shuts off, then we're back at square one. If that one income cuts off, we're back at square one. So that's why we have to always be trying to figure out another means of income. I want to, and I'm going to do this on a different session, teaching how to save forever. There's a way you can save forever. And I'm going to share this story. One of my sons, it was like he could spend some money. He could spend some money. And I've gone over with him over and over and over again. Different budgets. You know what I mean? He wanted to learn, and I was like, you got to do this. You got, but teach him how to budget. Teach him, he seemed to be having, flow of income coming in, but he can get rid of it as quick as it come in. So, I'm like, you have to learn how to budget, take this out for this and then trying to teach them, right? And I wind up being hospitalized for 10 days. And right before I got hospitalized, my Cadillac went out. Transmission went on the Cadillac. I just got that Cadillac. I bought a lemon. I purchased the lemon. And at some point the transmission went on it, but I told you, even in the previous video, I hated getting a car note, so I bought that car. But it was a lemon. And the transmission went on it probably like a month after I got it. Then I got hospitalized. While I was hospitalized for 10 days, my son, John, and I shouldn't say people's names, but yeah, he got my car fixed. It was $2,800. And he told me, you can pay me back whenever you can, Mom. And that meant the world to me, because not that, my car got fixed, and by the time I got to the hospital, he had it already parked back, at my house type of thing. But just for the fact that all that budgeting, that meant everything. I'm like, because you don't know if people getting what you're saying. You don't understand if, you try to share some good stuff with folk in your life, your children, your friends, give them some, useful advice, really for their betterment. And that made me feel good, because he was listening to the point where he had $2,800 to saved up in order to get my car fixed. And I paid him back my next 3 checks. I was like, and then in the midst of that, I told you I bought a lemon. The water pump went on the car. And I had to get another $300 or $400 from him for that. But he had it. I don't know what it's like right now, but he had it. And that made me feel good, because he listened about budgeting and saving and what he had to do. He probably never thought he would have to help me out that way, but it was a big help. So, and even when my children were young, I didn't have money. I didn't finish that thought before in the other tape, but I didn't have money to give them. When I was raising them, my thing was just making sure they get food in their mouth, back and forth to school, clean clothes. That's all. Clean clothes, food, sleep, rest, get up. Let's do this process all over again the next day. That's all I was concerned about. If you got somewhere they have to go, I'm going to make sure they get there. I'm going to be there with them, because ain't nobody going to not the mine. Those my kids. I'm responsible for those. So, and I enjoyed being a parent. Oh my God, I wish I would have had 6 kids. But I would have loved to have more kids because kids are everything. I mean, like, but I didn't have the money to just give them whenever they ask. So I thought of ways of being able to get the money. And there's this that look those circulars. I don't know if you ever see those circulars in the bags, and they have all different types of circulars for the different stores. Shoot, on my lunch break, I used to go on my lunch break, pick up hundreds of bags, let them drop them bags in my car on a Friday, every Friday on my lunch, just to be able on Saturday morning, me and my sons and my nephew, Al will help too. Yeah. But that's the way they made their money. And only thing, and I taught them, I didn't take a dime of it, but I did require them to replace my gas, to drive them, because I sat in the car. I sat in the car. They got on one side of the street, the other guy, and they just put them where they supposed. Those were fun times. I enjoyed doing that with my kids. It taught them work ethics, and they're all entrepreneurs to this day. You know what I mean? They make their money. They do what they got to do to take care of themselves and their families. And I'm so proud of all my children, my nieces and everybody. But those are some of my stories. Ha. Ha. But I'm going to do another session on teaching you how to save forever. And the ever, save forever. And I'll teach you that on another session. So now you have to ask yourself, where do I stand financially? And like I said, use Credit Karma. Use any of those other sources. That one I know. So, and it was working for me all these years and still working for me to this day. Even to the point where when I went to qualify for a home, I qualified for a home under Credit Karma. Got Quicken loans. Qualified for FHA loans and everything. Yeah. Qualified to purchase a $300,000 house. 2 years it took me to get from being from my home being repossessed or my car repossessed, my home being foreclosed on, and I knew that it takes 2 years of tax returns. So that was my goal. And I put myself in that position because I did the things necessary in order to get there. I followed some instructions. And that's, if I can't do nothing else, let me tell you one little simple thing about me. If I don't know how to do nothing else, I get an A++ and following instructions. I'm good at that. That's one of my strong points. You see, because there's a such thing as called a system. And systems work. When you go to work for somebody at their job, there's a system that they have in place. And you're supposed to follow that system. If you have your own business, and you are the boss, there's a system, a way you operate, a way that you can do things, a way that you do things. When we're taking care of our families, when we're preparing our meals, there's a way, there's a system in order for us to do the things that we do. Majority of time, I would say, I think a lot of my time, before I actually can some people can just jump and do it. For me, I have to sit back and see what steps I'm going to take in order to accomplish that. So I have to see what steps I'm going to take in order to accomplish my economical health. What steps am I going to take? First of all, if I don't have a car, I want a car. Because a car is, first of all, going to get me to where I got to go faster. Yeah, you're going to have to pay car insurance. You are. So that means you're going to have to bump up your income. Okay, you're starting out young. And you may be restarting over at old. But if you want a car, hey, work on getting a car. But before you get a car, if you need a bus card, then you work on getting a bus card. Freeze up a case of waters and go stand on some corner and sell them. You spend what you spend $5 for the case of water. If you get a brand people, may enjoy. On a cold day, on a warm day, people really don't care. They just want something to quench the thirst. I've seen people do that before. And okay, I spent $5 for it. I'm making $19 by selling 24 bottles of water. So then I go and buy 2 cases of water and I'm spending $10 for it. And now I just made $38. Yeah, and that $38 could be used to continue to turn over the business, or you're accumulating cash for another project. So you want to see where you stand financially. Use the resources available. And this is the beers, behavioral health, emotional health, economical health, because ain't no way I'm behaving all that good if my money ain't right. I ain't happy if my money ain't right. And emotionally, I ain't happy if my money ain't right. So that's why I say they all tie in together. If my money right, I got a different type of behavior going on. That's right. If my money right, when I go to a restaurant, I don't have to say how much that costs. I can just say, wow, what is that? I like to have that, and just have it. So your attitude changes when your money is right, when you're economically healthy. And it's not to say that you go into the restaurant and just get whatever you want when you want to get it just because you can. But you want to get what you want to get because you enjoy what you're getting. I don't want to just order lobster just because I can, if I don't enjoy lobster, just to say I had it. I'll eat chicken and enjoy it just as much, as long as it has some Marsala sauce on it. Yeah, I like Marsala sauce when it's cooked right. Woo! But yeah, so look at your positioning. Where do I stand financially? Take inventory. What's your buying power like? What's your buying power? You got any cash? Are you liquid? How much cash can you put your hand on right now that belongs to you? If you don't got no cash, nothing. And if you don't have any cash, that's not because we all need things. Whether it's a bag of chips, pack of gum, and these are just the want things sometimes. But yeah, you have to do something to be able to put yourself in a different economical state, different economical health. And I'm the type of person, if I know, because especially during these challenging times and times in the past, when I know that, I got a certain amount of income coming in and I know I'm not going to get any money anytime soon. No, I always leave door opens for opportunities. I never shut down every door. But there are some doors, how much money coming through that door because this is the agreed upon arrangement, whatever the case may be. That's what you get paid. But if you know that, then, and if all I have is like $20, I'm going to hold that $20 unless it is an absolute emergency for me to spend. I'm going to hold that $20 till I get my next money. Because it ain't nowhere in the world I'm be left with not a dollar again. Because that's a horrible place to be in. Suppose I need to catch a bus, or suppose I need to get from one spot to the next and I don't have a dollar. That's rough. And we may have been in that place before. But it doesn't make you feel good. Your behavior is not like, woo, 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 woo. I don't got no money in my pocket. Yay! I'm broke like that. I'm broke You don't hear nobody doing that. You see people sad when they don't have nothing in their pocket. See, because it's no way economical health comes and you're emotionally healthy too. Now, if you're emotionally healthy and you ain't got no money, then because you are emotionally healthy, you can think your way through this. Okay, what do I need to do in order to behave or do some behaviors that's going to bring me some income? That's going to bring me what I need. Maybe I can give my services. Don't you know some people need a shoe shining service? And I haven't seen a shoe. There's one that I used to go to, because sometimes you can't keep getting brand new shoes. You want to restore them shoes, especially if you love them. You want the heel fixed or something. There's so many. Please get them. Open up a shoe repair shop. You got to go to school and get a skill to do it. Know what you're doing, taking people's shoes, because you get sued. But it's a business that people will come to. If you know how to clean sneakers, what? I don't know if they do that at the dry cleaners, do they? I just throw mine in the wash. But some people would never throw their sneakers in the washer. And I saw on television Michael Jordan's sneakers that he wore in the different games are going on auction. Somebody's gonna buy those sneakers. Like, I wonder if they're gonna wear them, because they look kind of a little scruffy. They look like they were really warm, but that's probably why they have so much value to them, and the fact that his feet were in. That's a lot of money for some used sneakers. Wow. But that just goes to show you the value of the individual. Because it ain't even about the sneakers. It's about, because if your sneakers or my sneakers was on sale, they wouldn't buy them. I wouldn't buy them, sure. So it's about the individual. That's why I say you bring something to the table. You have to figure out what it is you bring to the table and you market that. Hey. And I asked you before, how much cash you have? What you got liquid? You have to look at that. You have to see. If you have absolutely nothing you can put your hand on, and you want to know what? It might be your bill money. If you don't have a bank account, don't you know you can start a bank account with your bill money? And then when the bill come due, you pay with the money that you opened up the bank account with. The bank account will still be open, but you want to start festering, filtering. You know, at some point, open up another bank account just because you know you're going to have some other deposit that's going to be required. Sometimes you got to think like that. Like, I'm opening up this bank account just to be able to find some way to start depositing money into it. And that could be your second hobby. That could be your second income. That could be the third or the fourth income. But you're planning, you're setting up. You're putting yourself in a different position. And I talked to you about the credit. Credit is useful. It gives you buying power. It says to other people that you pay your bills. And those are the people who are looking at this. You just have to be smart when it comes to using them. When the bill comes, pay it off. If you can't afford to pay it when the bill comes, then don't buy it. You can't afford it. So that keeps you it keeps you economically healthy when you stay within your income. And then there was a period of time I had shared with you that I was on public assistance, and I was making a certain amount with food stamps and with food stamps and the money that they give you. So I was used to living off a certain amount of income. So when I got a job, I didn't start increasing, or I didn't start buying more extravagant things. I continued to live off of that income. Like I was still on public assistance. It wasn't the worst in the world. I was able to feed my children. I was able to now clothe them. And I did share a story about when I had to get sneakers and boots for my two younger sons, and Method Man saw me in the store. I never knew him. He never knew me, but he must have saw that, I was a struggling mom, and he helped me out. And I'm thankful. That was an experience. That was an experience, a beautiful experience. So, the economical health. And you never know. Like I said, I never close the doors for when something, can happen for you. And that was a time it happened for me. And I was telling in that story, I only had $100. And I said to God, you're going to have to feed us every day, because I had to get them boys some sneakers, because it was about to snow and rain, and theirs were tattered. So when Method Man and his family was there too, paid for those sneakers and those Timberland boots, and I was able to take that $100 and go buy groceries with it. Yeah, that was a moment that I couldn't even stop crying for a while. That was a touching moment. But these are things that can happen. And during your economic, I was making every effort I could, but God was paying attention too. And he touched his heart in order to be able to help me along that moment. So your credit, do what you can with your credit. Get a credit card, I would say. Just monitor it. And if you're building credit, especially young people, another thing, like parents, they usually allow children, like when they want the children to have the same good credit they have. So they're able to give their child a credit card because their credit is great. The kid's credit turns out great. And that's another way of passing along wealth. Passing along. So now this child when they move out of their mama's house, they can actually go into their own house and not necessarily renting a place as we think we have to do. If we're paying $2,000 a month mortgage, yeah, you can pay less for, rent, you can pay less for mortgage. And everything you put in is equity for yourself. But we have to do what we got to do until we can do what we want to do or can do. Do what you can do until you can do what you want to do. Yeah. Overall, you're making steps to progress. You're making progress. What did I call it? Steps to prosper. That's what you're making. Steps to prosper. You're moving in a positive direction. You're making sure all your, everything is lined up. So because your goal is to be economically healthy. And I'm going to give a lesson on two different things. When it comes to the project, sometimes the way that you produce income is through projects. I am a project. And I won't ever stop saying that because I'm always working on myself. But through projects, it could be a project where, you go around and offer backyard cleanup, offer basement clean, some way. Make a flyer if you gotta. Do something, especially if you're a handy person. If you're a person that's creative and somebody needs something done. I remember once upon a time, flyers. People, used to love flyers. And when you make a flyer, oh my God, that was like the thing. Because they were passed around all the time. But people have a lot of different skills and talents, abilities and gifts. And I actually call that your tags. T is your talents. A are your abilities. G, your gifts. And S are your skills. Those are those developmental things. I'm going to do a session on your tags. And I'm going to name those and I'll break them up. I'm a big acronym type of person because